Our experiment under consideration is simulation of BJT Darlington emitter follower with and without bootstrapping and determination of gain, input and output impedances. We do the simulation as usual using PSpice. The steps for the same are also shown one after the other. First of all, what do we actually mean by an emitter follower circuit? Whenever the output signal follows the input voltage peaks, it is called as an emitter follower. That is a prominent feature of an emitter follower. So the emitter is common usually between the base and the collector. And the important features of an emitter follower, why we choose a particular emitter follower circuit, is that it will basically have very high input impedance, very low output impedance, and it is an ideal circuit for impedance matching. Now, why exactly do we need very high input impedance? Unless we have high input impedance, we will not be able to limit the amount of input current to the circuit. That means to say, if we do not limit the input current, the output current is also going to increase and it leads to instability in the circuit. So we would want to limit the amount of input current flow, and at the same time, by having a very high input impedance, we can also reduce the amount of heat that is generated in the circuit, and which helps in improving the stability of the circuit. Besides this, sometimes it is not just sufficient to have the amount of high input impedance that emitter follower gives. At times we will want very high input impedance, a high gain, so that high current gain is obtained, and for a very small input current that flows in, we want a very high output current without disturbing the stability or without using bulky components in the circuit. So how are we able to achieve this? One solution to this is Darlington emitter follower. So if we observe the basic features of a Darlington emitter follower is that there is sufficient current gain. How is this achieved? We can see the Darlington emitter follower circuit is connected in this fashion. Here, just like a normal emitter follower, the emitter is common to the base and the collector, and the emitter is grounded. A voltage divider bias gives the base input voltage to the first transistor, and we can see that most importantly the emitter of transistor 1 is connected to the transistor 2's base, that is emitter of transistor 1, that is Q1, is connected to the base of transistor 2, that is Q2, and the effective beta value would be the product of both the betas, that is beta 1 into beta 2. That means what? We are able to get a total beta value equal to the product of these, which means to say the IC value, the IC current value is sufficiently large than what we get using a single stage amplification or a single common emitter amplifier. So therefore, by using a Darlington emitter pair, what are we achieving? We are getting sufficient current gain compared to your normal common emitter amplifier. And most importantly, this has extremely high input impedance. The common emitter is having an input impedance in the range of kilo ohms. This circuit will have the input impedance in mega ohms and definitely a very low output impedance, which allows to draw maximum power out of the load, and which avoids, by satisfying this condition, we avoid wastage of power as well. And definitely the most highlighting feature is that there is sufficient current gain. So this is the symbol for a Darlington emitter pair, wherein inside the bubble you can see two back-to-back connector transistors, wherein the emitter of one is connected to the base of the next transistor. Now, in order to achieve very high input impedance, a part of the output voltage is fed back via an RC network in order to reduce the base emitter junction voltage so that we can limit the amount of input current that is given to the circuit. So by bootstrapping, we achieve further value of higher input impedance, and thereby we get sufficient current gain without losing stability of the circuit. So we will see with bootstrapping and without bootstrapping what happens to our circuit. So this is the circuit diagram for the Darlington pair without bootstrapping. You can see the back-to-back connected transistors and two probes are placed. This is the PSpice diagram which you are supposed to generate. So if you look at the diagram, circuit diagram for a Darlington pair with bootstrapping, you can see that an RC value is connected from the base of the first transistor to the emitter of the second transistor. So what happens, a portion of voltage is fed back at this point in order to reduce the amount of current flow to the base of the first transistor, thereby helping in reducing the instability, or thereby helping in reducing the distortions and getting a perfect output. We mean to say that the input impedance of this circuit is further greater than without bootstrapping circuit for a Darlington emitter configuration. We will also see that the frequency response of Darlington pair with bootstrapping is much smoother and has a characteristic curve like this.
So here you can see the Darlington emitter follower is being simulated. So I have initially placed the two transistors Q2 and 3904, and this is taken from this option, place, part, and ideally we need to add all this, we need to select all this and add all the libraries that are present. We just need to select everything and give open. It's better to add all because the transistor is available in the analog library. Okay, once that's done, we place the transistor, and to draw these wires, to add these wires, we have an option called wire. Then you can do the connections this way. I have next placed the capacitors. That is also selected in a similar manner. Select the place, part, since C denotes your capacitor. Select C analog and click OK. You will get the capacitance that you need to place. You can place how many ever you want depending upon your requirement. Later, just press the escape option. You can even right click and end the mode.
Now solve it for.
So the rest of the connections are made as shown. We connect the DC source. Everything is got from here. Just select this, select part, and if you want the DC source, just type VD. You get the VDC. Okay, just select that VDC source. Similarly, you also have VAC source. Select both because we need both here. Then the capacitors, resistors are placed, and as shown earlier, the wires are pulled in, and finally we connect the ground which is present here. Ground, we need to select this zero source. Then just give OK. Okay, I've already placed the ground over here. Further, once all these connections are done, once these connections are done, we double click on these values. Just double click on the numbers given here. Say for example, I've already set this now. I'll just show you an example here. Double click on this value. You have the option to type in the exact value of the resistance that you want. value only need to be selected and just click OK. Now I have given 68K according to the circuit diagram given in your manual. Similarly, even for the capacitance, you can double click just on the value and put in the value, that is here it is 0.47 microfarad. So if for microfarad, just type small u. Okay. To perform the simulation, select PSpice and select new simulation profile. You select the new simulation, a pop-up window comes like this, and select type the name of the experiment over here and click create. Once the schematic is done, it is very important for us to magnify using the magnifying lens given over there and check the connections if at all we have left out anything anywhere. If this is not done, there will be errors which are occurring and it will be difficult for you to run the simulation continuously. You should also connect the probe button and place it over here across the output to view the output. To do the simulation, select PSpice, select edit simulation profile, and here you have the option to give the start and end frequency in points per decade. So we give 10 Hz, 100 megahertz, points per decade of 10. That means the step size is 10. Click apply and then give OK. Next, we have to run it. We need to run the simulation. Again, save it and click the run button, or go to PSpice and give run button. You can see this is your frequency versus output voltage graph. So in order to find the input impedance of Darlington emitter pair with bootstrapping, without bootstrapping, or with bootstrapping for any of the cases, we need to connect an input variable resistance over here, which you can select as usual from place, part, and just type R variable. Okay, just type R variable and click OK. You will get the various variable resistance. We keep on varying the input impedance in trial and error, and check for what value of input impedance or input resistance, variable resistance, that I am going to get output voltage to be half that of what was there earlier. So earlier we had 1 volt, so right now we are supposed to get 0.5 volts or 500 millivolts. So we have observed that for a value of 80K input impedance, we are getting the output voltage to be half the value of the input. So this is it.